Over 65.8 million women are currently living with what is called PCOS, and that number is constantly expanding. Doctors are now calling PCOS the diabetes of the ovaries. What is the connection between a reproductive disease and what we call diabetes? In this video, I am not going to just explain it. I am going to show you why doctors are calling PCOS the diabetes of the ovaries, the growing statistics, the growing number of women dealing with this disease, and why you should not wait to take action. But before we get into that, you need to know who I am. Peace, my name is Dr. Shakira Moore. I am a board certified naturopath and iridologist. I created my own system called Advanced Iris Analysis, where I help women to understand their health at the root level, way before symptoms arise. This means I can see the inner workings of your uterus, your ovaries, your pancreas, your spleen, your liver, way before you feel any aches or pain. I used this science of iridology to then formulate your comprehensive iridology report so that you can target your health on a more personalized level, not a standard one, which a lot of women are trapped in, getting standard labs and not understanding their health on a full perspective. So now that you know who I am, let's get into why doctors are calling PCOS the diabetes of the ovaries. Now, PCOS, which stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome, is an endocrine disorder that is strongly linked to insulin resistance and high androgenic levels. Now, if you watch my last video, high androgenic levels is a male hormone. Now, women and men have androgen, but somehow androgen has found its way in your body in high amounts, which contributes to the hormonal facial hair and the excessive acne. PCOS is also linked to infertility, which is the inability to conceive, irregular periods, that includes painful, absent periods, and also cystic ovaries. So let's just kind of back this thing up. When you look it up on Google, it'll say that PCOS is linked to a high insulin resistance and can lead to diabetes, when actually let's do the reverse card, okay? PCOS is not the disease that you think it is. It is actually a symptom of metabolic failure. Let's look at the 3 organs that controls this metabolic syndrome: the liver, the pancreas, and the colon. When we begin to focus on these areas, you'll begin to see that this word that we have called PCOS is not the actual disease, but it's a symptom of the malfunctioning of your main organs, your main filtration organs, which is your liver, your gut, and your pancreas. Now, the reason why doctors are calling PCOS the diabetes of the ovaries is due to the fact that you are now in a high insulin resistant state, meaning that the excessive glucose in your body has no more space to find itself in the cell. The cell is already full of energy. And a lot of women diagnosed with this disease, they tend to snack a lot. They tend to eat a lot of foods that convert into sugar, which in turn glucose. The sugar goes into the body. The insulin becomes produced by the pancreas. The insulin tries to get the sugar out of the blood, but it cannot, because your cells is too high energy. So now it shoots it back out, and this is what we find: high insulin resistance. Now, it's not just looking at PCOS causing that, but rather the malfunctioning or the overworking of the pancreas trying so hard to keep up with your daily demand of how much sugar and all the foods, all the fatty foods that we've been eating that contribute to that. If we have that understanding, we can actually target this at the root rather than calling it PCOS and constantly in a circle, only focusing on the reproductive organs. Now, let's look at the stats of what is called PCOS. Let's put the glasses on for this. Now, this is a study done in 2021 tracking PCOS diagnosis, and this is globally. 65.8 million women were living with PCOS, 1.18 million new cases were diagnosed, and over 500,000 years of healthy life were lost due to PCOS. This means the symptoms that women are experiencing, the fatigue, the hormonal facial hair, the hormonal acne, the painful periods, the heavy periods, the missing periods, painful during sex, inability to want to even have sex. Ladies, in other words, your capacity to live, your vigor for life is seriously diminished. But this is not all. They're showing now that the cases of teenage girls between the ages of 15 through 19 are rising, and women between the ages of 30 and 34 are the most at risk. So what does this data tell us? This data tells us that PCOS diagnoses are not standing still. Rather, the number is increasing more and more. This study also projected by the year of 2036, over 77.8 million new cases are going to be diagnosed for PCOS. This is an alarming number, and women, we seriously need to pay attention. Now, some of the most popular methods that women are using to address this issue, especially in the medical community, is birth control. In their science, their belief is to stop the symptoms, stop what's feeding the cause, so that we are managing symptoms rather than getting to the root. Notice I said managing rather than actually helping women to get to the root and reverse this dis-ease once and for all. What birth control does is confuses the brain by sending the signal that you've already ovulated, you already had your menstruation, no need to release that. And so in their science, stopping the ovulation process, stopping the menstruation process means stopping the estrogen, stopping the progesterone. And in other words, this is not going to feed the growth of the cysts, the hormonal facial hair, the hormonal acne. But here's the thing. The cyst is still going to exist, and once you get off that birth control, the symptoms are going to come back stronger than ever before. So is birth control really the answer? Another thing women are doing is taking vitamins and looking up singular herbs to address this issue. Vitamins, let me just say this. If you do not address the root, which is looking at the liver, and let me just say, the liver is responsible for synthesizing your vitamin A, your D, your E, your K. If your liver is not healthy, you are not going to absorb the vitamins at 100% level, meaning that the cell is not even going to get any of it. You may get 5%. You may even see some type of relief. But if you don't get to that root, you're going to keep finding yourself back to point A, thinking that you are so close to point Z. The singular herbs, such as spearmint, looking at herbs that are anti-androgenic, those are great. But again, if you're not getting to that root, if you're not detoxing with strategy, detoxifying the liver, detoxifying your gut, detoxifying your pancreas, then virtually everything you do will keep you frustrated, in a loop, because again, we have been given the juice of shortcut culture. This is what I'm going to be breaking down in my upcoming webinar, Your Labs Are Normal, so why are you still dealing with chronic hormonal disease, May 5th at 7 p.m. I am giving you all of my secrets of how I brought myself from having hormonal facial hair, dealing with the belly and the extended belly, to now seeing relief and no longer plucking facial hair anymore. If this is you and you are so tired of dealing in the shortcut culture, you're tired of having short term relief, and you really want a proven strategy, a detox strategy that works so that you can have the long lasting results that you want, click the link in the description to reserve your spot now. You can also click the link in the description to get my hormone root reset guide, where I lay out for you how to actually detox with precision rather than going into short-term relief. Thank you so much for watching this video. It means so much. As you can see, based upon the numbers, this disease is not going away anytime soon. And it is my job to give you the real information and activation into finally healing this challenge. I will see you on the next video. Peace and love.